What's good, everybody? Back once again. Now that our NBA season is over, we heading up to the draft. Free agency gonna come up. You know, I started like thinking about like, oh, okay, cool. What team maybe like should do or get or try to improve, and I was like, I guess I was like, and I'm sort of going to take a backwards approach to this. Um, I was like, there ain't no reason to hit Denver. They won. All they people pretty much signed. They ain't really nothing to worry about. They could. So I was like, all right, cool. We're gonna go do the Miami Heat. Now, Miami Heat, they lost out on the Bradley Beal trade, which I sort of think like it's not that Bradley Beal isn't a good player. That's not, but it's the contract part of it. And I think that they would probably have to give up more than what the Suns did, and I think that would, while they have a good development system, they were able to find all these players. I don't know if that yeah, that might have helped in that situation, but I don't know if you giving up Hero necessarily for him, and then you might not be able to bring back Vincent Struess and all that other stuff, depending on how the money works out. That's my kind of thing. Where I feel like they need improvements in a couple other places, even though that they made it all the way there. I know on the table it's a Dame Lillard trade, but I don't think he's going anywhere. And to be quite honest, I don't think the Heat need to go. I know that the thing is to get names and stars and stuff like that, but I think if anything, their team sort of demonstrated that it's like they just need higher quality pieces more so than anything. Victor Oladipo and Hero was gone, and I think that they would have been able to give a good offensive push boost to the Heat, to where the Heat could at least made have gotten over a couple of those games that they lost, like like the game 4 and the game 5 loss, where it was like right there, and I feel like that was coming because they're more scores than Martin and Struess and stuff like that. So I was like, I think Kyle Lowry still got one more year left on this deal. So I was like, we'll see how that goes. I think they need to also get another big man. I was like, even though Jokic was going to pretty much abuse who probably was ever at the center spot. Problem is they didn't have anybody to really give Bam a breather. Like Bam did a pretty hell of a job with the amount of scoring, passing, and defending that I feel like he sort of he pretty much maxed what he was doing, so he did an admirable job. I feel like Jimmy Butler just sort of, whether it be like the ankle or the fact that he was being guarded by like three different people several times, or four if you want to, like KCP, Bruce Brown, Gordon, even Porter Jr. at times. They're all either like really good defensive like people, or they're either long or they can match up with him body size or whatever. Like Bruce Brown's like 6'4", but he's stocky and stuff. So you need somebody else that can also get their offense. And I was like, wow, Hero's great, and also that I was like, I think they still need another person. That way you can make everybody else. That way, if Struess goes, if he has a 0 point game or something like that, you don't feel you're just not like, or if Duncan Robinson can't get a shot going, you don't like they had to lean on them so much that. So I feel like they need another person. I don't think they need to go out and get a big. I think they could use that money otherwise to get some other people. Uh, there's a couple people in mind that I'm like, whether it's trade or free or like actual free agency, it just is people that just pop in my mind or that I was thinking of. So one of them is like Jackson Hayes from New Orleans. I was like 6'11" dude, athletic. Uh, I was like he makes me sort of think of like Anderson Varejao. Like energetic. Got a lot of bounce. Sometimes it's a little bit just like, what are you doing on the court? But you understand his effort and stuff like that. I think he's a bigger body than Bam, obviously, but like I'm not saying that he would have been like a Jokic stopper, but I'm saying he's a bigger body to throw out there that you could give for a while. I was like, you could do. I was like, like you could have somebody else big on the. But I was like, I don't think he'll also be crazy expensive either. And that's what I'm trying to do here too. Not just like be like, oh man, they're game changers, but it's like the amount of money you're going to pay also for what you're going to give them needs to be a good blend when you have a team like this that's going to sort of be, especially if they pay Vincent and Strus and stuff like that, you're going to start being a little bit capped on what you could do. I was like, I don't think they'll have the money, but it'd be funny. It would seem like a Heat thing to do almost, but like somebody like Grant Williams from the Celtics, he command the 4. I was like, he's a bigger build than Martin, and I was like, I feel like he's more of a I was like, his 3-point shooting can vary. Sometimes he lights out, like how he was last year. Like in like the finals and stuff like that. And then sometimes it's like a little hit or miss. But I think that between him and Martin at the 4, I feel like you could get away with that because he's bigger than Martin, and I feel like you wouldn't be totally lost when it switches because I was like the Heat team sort of does good where they got like all their dudes pretty much able to switch except for when they got like Lowry and Gabe out there. I was like somebody else in mind that I was thinking of that it'd probably be a little more difficult, but somebody I was like I think Spencer Dinwiddie would be good with the Heat. I like he's 6'6", so he's a big guard. He can play the point in other spots as well too. But you got another dude that can pass the ball. Also, he can get his own shot as well. So that way you don't have to have Bam pass or Jimmy pass. I was like, nah, he's gonna get his own shot, and especially with Lowry not able to do that really anymore, like how he was early in his Raptor years. I was like, you sort of need somebody out to create his own shot. So I was like, you can have him, Jimmy, and Hero in some form. That way, if you got 3 shot creators, I was like, you got a better shot. I was like some other people I guess on the cheap end that I could see like the Heat get snagging might be like Dwight Powell from the Mavericks, another energy guy. I like he's not really on the big side, so you really just sort of also just like getting somebody around Bam size, but I mean I'm trying to think of like people you could sort of put in there, and cause like Zeller was really a non-factor. That I was like, so I'm like anything got to be sort of an upgrade, right? I think they should go ahead and keep Kevin Love. I think they should go ahead and bring him back. I think how the team played and how he contributed, I think that worked with the scheme of their offense. But I think one of the ones I think that they're really going to try to really get, maybe necessarily not like not like go out and go get him, but he'll end up there because it was already rumored that where he might go. It's Russell Westbrook. Now I think Russell Westbrook works really good on this team. It's surrounded by a lot of shooters. They got a lot of 3-point shooters, so you ain't got to worry about that. Bam is not clogging up the paint because he can shoot the mid range and stuff like that. Also, you got enough defensive players on the team to cover up any type of defense that Westbrook is lacking. And I feel like Spo is a coach that will not be able to get bogged down in the fact that he can't shoot. And so with that, I also think that how he played with the Clippers, I feel like shows that he can play with a bunch of, pretty much what the Heat was, a bunch of people that's like, and guess what? Westbrook does good with a lot of, he makes it a lot better. I was like, his intensity and tenacity work with the Heat. I was like, him and Jimmy might butt heads, but I don't mind butting heads when y'all want the same thing. But I was like, but he's also able to push the pace. He's also going to put pressure on you in the foul game. I was like, he's going to get everybody, he's going to get people in foul trouble, so that means that the team can have foul shots, and he just going to put pressure on the neck of just like all them time that Jokic was having like 4 fouls and stuff like that. That's where Westbrook would have came in handy because he's just going to the basket. And even the thing is that even if he missed close baskets, he's still creating opportunity for everybody else if you run with him as well. Also, too, I mean, like a dude that's going to be around the ball, whether it's rebound, passing the ball, and stuff like that. Jimmy needs a break. let Westbrook have it. You know, I think he would be a top dude that I feel like they might try to get. I thought about somebody like Harrison Barnes, but I think he's gonna get. I think he's gonna end up pricing himself out, even though he's made a good amount of money. I think he'll still price himself out of here. Um. So okay, so there's a sneaky one that I've been thinking about that I'm like, I could see, but I don't necessarily know if it's going to happen. But my sneaky pick is Dylan Brooks. I think I was like, I was like, obviously he wants money, but I don't know if he'll get it. And the best place I feel like to go and rehash or restart your career will be Miami. You go down there. I was like, your trash talking and tenacity fits with what they do. You give. I was like, I know he's shot bad, but also Spo and everybody down there, I feel like might be able to get him back in a rhythm. Plus, he'll be surrounded by other people too, other people that also ain't gonna play with his stuff, but also back him up in a way I feel like the Grizzlies didn't really back him up. And also too, like outside of Jimmy and outside of Bam, who's really their defensive players? Like it's like Strus is all right. You know, like he, like like you not like oh snap. You know, like Duncan Robinson was really the weak link. Everybody else is just like okay. You know, Martin. I was like you could at least see they'll try and they'll stick and they'll play their hearts out. Of course, hustle and all this other stuff. But I think Dylan will be able to be like okay, cool. Jimmy can have a breather. He ain't got to defend the main person. You know, I was like, look, Dylan didn't have a good, thing against LeBron and stuff, and so that was a little problem. But I don't think it's a big issue as it's being made, and I feel like at a right price, there'll be a lot of people that's going to try to snag him. There's a couple others, I guess. I was thinking about. I was thinking about like somebody like other people point guard because I was like thinking like about like Monte Morris on Washington or like Kobe White, but I'm like you got that really in Gabe and Kyle Lowry now with two short guards as a kid like so that's really I don't really see that being like a thing. They're not gonna be able to get like nobody like Chris Middleton or nothing like that off of the Bucks. You ain't gonna really get anybody off that squad. So the two people I was thinking of is and one of these because I've seen it on a thing was Nickeil Alexander Walker from Minnesota. I was like he's like 6'6". I was like he played a little bit of combo guard so he could play a little bit of 1 and 2. But you got Bam and Jimmy, so you don't have to play point. And then also depending if you got Kyle Lowry. But I was like, I felt like they used his offense really late in Minnesota because you've seen towards the end and like the last game they gave him more chances to shine. I think his defense is there as well, so he'll fit in with the Heat team. But he's also long and stuff like that. And this is sort of where I'm trying to get the Heat also not only people that can score and also like create their own shot, but also bigger people because they are really small to be honest. Like really across the board and all their other stuff. Not just at bigs where you want a big person, but even on the perimeter game. And the last one I was thinking of is somebody like Terry Rozier from the Hornets. I was like he could play a little bit of combo point to whatever you need him to do. But he can also, he can shoot a three. He can give me anywhere from like 20 to like 40. He's one of them type of dude. I don't think he's that streaky, but I feel like on the Heat, he's like your third player or whatever, depending on how you want to look at Jimmy first, and then Bam Hero, and then Rozier somewhere in there. But he's also another scorer, get his own shot, create his own shot. You don't have to worry about him. And I was like, his defense is okay. His defense is like pretty good considering all things. But I think see on the Hornets he has to be the number 2 guy and sometimes the number 1, and I feel like that's way more of of an overloading role than he needs. And I feel like he goes like how he was back with the Celtics when he was surrounded by Tatum and Smart and Brown and stuff like that. You could see like he was like his scoring was better. It's not as high as it was with the Hornets because more chances, but his defense was a little bit better because I was like because you're surrounded by a team concept. He'll do that in Miami, and so I think that would be a pretty good pick. But I think they just need better serviceable bigs, and they also to me just need taller guards or bigger guards, or at least that way you can mix and match your lineup. Where it's like if you had Spencer Dinwiddie, you can also play Gabe Vincent. You don't feel like you're losing anything. Where you play Kyle Lowry, Gabe Vincent, you better be scoring. Otherwise, it ain't gonna be working out. But anyway, that's just a couple of people that I feel like could play with the Heat. That also be in their price range. But yeah, if you liked any of these suggestions, let me know. If not, hey, that's fine too. But yeah, if you like this, I appreciate it. Thanks. If not, hey, maybe next time. But until then, peace. I'm out.